And this is definitely one of the months where we emphasize the focus on diabetes and how to prevent it. And I think that it is very appropriate in that regard to have our superstar and also chief product officer joining us and talking about this very important subject. So, Colin, the word is yours.
Thank you, Hilda, and thank you, Jacob. And it was great to spend time with you both at the weekend. And I can't believe it only just occurred to me, Hilda, that was the first time that you'd been over here at all. And Jacob, we've already discussed how disgraceful it is that it's been 27 years since you were in London. But I want to pick up from the weekend before I go into this, because we're going to discuss the HbA1c test. For any of you that don't know, it's something I'm really, really passionate about as a test, and I'm going to explain exactly why. But I'm going to go back to the weekend first. So we three had all presented. It was a great day. It started early. Jacob had presented. I'd been onto stage. Hilda had been onto stage twice, and then she'd actually headed back to the airport. And it was late in the afternoon, and Jacob and I said, let's get some energy. Let's go for a run. Actually, I said, I'm going to go for a run. And Jacob, being Jacob, said, great, I'll come with you. Tell me when you go, and I'm going to come with you. And we did. And we had a really nice run. We just ran around together. We just went exploring. We didn't know the area. We ended up doing just shy of a 9-kilometer route, and we had a good chat, and it was really pleasant. But as we were coming back in towards the hotel, one of the people who were attending was crossing the car park. And I don't know if you picked up on this, Jacob. And he said to us, oh, so you are like living it, you know, you're the real deal. You're actually living what you preach. That was what he said. And I think that is so important for all of us, that we, with regards to our health centricity, with regards to how we think about health and how we conduct ourselves, that we are the first ambassador that somebody meets for what we're talking about, that we're an example of what it is that we believe in. And so wherever we go in the world, you're always going to find authenticity, because that's who and what we are. But right now is the critical time of year, believe it or not, and I don't want to ruin anyone's Christmas, but to think about the HbA1c test. Because if I was to say to you now, let's talk about vitamin D, you go, yeah, that makes sense. It's late autumn, winter, it's getting dark, there's less sun in the sky, so there's less synthesis of vitamin D. Makes sense. But from a behavioral point of view, we are now entering the season where everything is justified because it's Christmas. And as you've noticed, Christmas starts sooner. Advertisements, things in shops. So that kind of, oh, well, we'll have an extra drink, or we'll have a piece of cake, or we'll have a chocolate bar, or we're going to stay in because the weather's not so good. Oh, it's Christmas. It's okay. It's nearly Christmas. And so now is the perfect time to take a moment's pause and to think, because anyone who's ever heard me speak ever will know I say this all the time. You are the outcome of the things you do most often. And if you look at any of the behavioral studies of the past 10 years, and the impact of Christmas, we see two things. One, people's consumption of those kind of foods starts earlier. So it's well established now that it starts early in November. Used to start midway through December. So we've added 6 weeks on. But here's the fascinating part. It stops much later. So lots of people go, it's Christmas. Oh, well, now it's, you know, it's a week between now and New Year. So no, it's New Year. Now it's New Year. And then there's all those, we're going to start the new year, new me. And that quickly gives up as well. And what we see now, and if you have a look at any of the behavioral data around food consumption and the impact of Christmas, the Christmas period, the midwinter period, we see whereas 20 years ago, 2 weeks after Christmas, people were pretty much back to a normal diet. 2 months later, people are starting to get back to a normal diet now. So people are riding the Christmas train, and that, well, it's Christmas, going to get back to normal. And that's huge, because if you think about it, November to the end of Feb, that's 4 months. The HbA1c test gives you an indication of the past 3. And remember, it's tiny little habits that people pick up over time that start to change who and what they are. I'm going to bring up some information. I'm going to show a few slides just to recap on what the HbA1c test is. Because to me, were I a salesperson, and everyone knows that I'm not, but if I was, I would be looking at the two most fundamental critical aspects of human health: cellular balance test. If you're not right at a cellular level, you can't be right at any level. And secondly, your glycemic control, your blood sugar. Sugar is a toxin to the blood. And this is a pandemic of huge proportions that we're dealing with on a global scale. So if I was having a conversation with someone about health and they said, where should I start? I'd say test these two things. These two things will tell you pretty much everything you need to know about your health status. Most importantly, they're going to tell you something about something you can do about it, because we're preventative health. Let's get in and make a positive change. And so I'm just going to share the screen, go through a few slides, refresh your minds, or maybe introduce this brand new to some people as to what the Zinzinon HbA1c test is. I'm hugely proud of it. We as a collective team, the whole organization, did so much work on this. And remember, we have the test, and then we link how the outcome of that test is linked to what we offer, both as advice and how it positions the key products. I genuinely think, and this was our thought when we were putting this together, we imagined the partner with the customer, talking them through and going, great, here's your test result. Here's how we can help. And it opens up a whole box of options and way we can help you to improve your health. So keep promising slides and not bringing any slides up, but here they are. Just some statistics for you. Estimated 422 million individuals are affected by type 2 diabetes. It's the pandemic before the pandemic. It was classified as a pandemic back in 2014 for the first time, confirmed in 2017. And the problem with it is that it's an easy one to live with and ignore when it's in the pre-diabetic state, because the signs and symptoms of pre-diabetes are kind of normalized. When you look around our societies now, it's that general, it's okay, it's not so bad, everything's all right. But actually, as you see here, it's a gateway disease. And what we mean by that is when you're dealing with the factors of pre-diabetes that lead to type 2 diabetes, you're already showing signs of a pathology. Your body is already starting to manifest disease-like behaviors. Part of this can be a disassociation between certain hormones, leptin that regulates body fat, and ghrelin that drives your appetite. And so it's these little things. Nobody starts to overconsume by 1,000 calories a day overnight. It's where they start to increase by 50 calories a day, then 100. And then in 2 months' time, they've got up to around about 300. It's very gradual. This happens gradually over time. And so tapping the brakes, taking a test, is the key to be preventative. In the US already, and the tragic thing is most of what happens in the US when it comes to health, we inherit. It used to be about 10 years, now it's less than 5. And in the US, currently 38% of all adults are pre-diabetic. We should look at that and we should go, okay, there's the writing on the wall. But the best part is, and I would say this to all 38% of those US pre-diabetics, we can stop it. We can reverse it. You don't need to have this. It's completely reversible at this stage. And that's why, as a tool for you to help people towards better health, and as a test to give a real insight on status, the HbA1c one is invaluable. It's such a powerful part of what we offer the world. So we have the test. It's a 3-dimensional product. It's there on the Zinzinon test website. And we give you so much information to work with. Maybe we give too much. And we're always reviewing what we do. Maybe we need to simplify it all the more. But I want you to remember a few key bits. Is that you get health markers, objective scientific blood sugar test. And remember that your daily requirement for refined sugar is 0. Your body doesn't need any of it. Your habit might, your behavior might go, I want my sugar high, but your body doesn't need any of it. And too much of it is toxic in the blood. And so we analyze that. And I would confidently have this conversation with anyone in the world. we have the singularly most reliable, verifiable HbA1c test available to anyone. It always makes me laugh. Someone recently said, I did your test, and the same day I did my test with my doctor, and the tests were the same, so I knew yours was good. And I said, no, no, no. The fact that tests are the same shows us that your doctor's was good. We know ours is amazing. Don't get them the wrong way around. All we've done is prove your doctor's got a good test. So we have a look at where you're at right now. And sometimes the person might have a good score. That's brilliant. Great. But that in itself is not stationary. That's dynamic. It's a case of, right, this is good now. So let's keep to being good. And let's sense check and look at the key things that contribute towards the maintenance of this. And that ties into our lifestyle health markers. So things are good now. But in response to that questionnaire you fill in, because you do the blood test, but you fill in a questionnaire, okay, how much does your behavior support this observation? And are there things that are starting to show up now that you would be better advised to change? Also, all of this understanding and learning sets you up for better understanding in the future. And then what you get as your results, you get an overall health index score. We link this to the matrix that we've put together that tells you everything about how our products can help, plus so many resources about behavior change, nutrition, lifestyle. You get so much back. So even for somebody who is really fit, healthy, doing everything well, they're going to get some either reassurance or new ideas. It's an untapped treasury of good advice when supporting this test. I don't know what's going on here. I seem to be scribbling on my screen. So we have your lifestyle, we have the blood sugar levels, we combine all this together, and this is all accessible via zinzinotest.com. So I'd imagine all of you are familiar with this, but I want you to be more familiar with it. I really do want you to start to consider how you can set this up, not just for this month where there's a spotlight, but as you move forward as a great way to get more understanding of health. We have the lifestyle questionnaire, really powerful because this is so unique. The blood test is unique, but the questionnaire is the specifics to how somebody conducts their life. Any kind of test can be a snapshot, even a 3-month retrospective. But the things that we do are shaping up our future because we are the outcome of the things we do most often. And for a while, the body can cope, but the body can't cope forever. So we have a look now, things are good. What do we preserve? What do we maintain? And what do we improve? You get your score, you get direct feedback. We've made it simple. We grade it, whether it's medium, whether it's good. You have these indicators, and then you have personal recommendations. And this is all the background info that feeds into that to show you what to do next. You get detailed results specific to your blood score, your questionnaire, and then you'll see there how we link all of this towards our food matrix and specific product recommendations. So there is so much to this. It's a rich tapestry of information. And I think the best thing you can possibly do is spend some time in this space. I would hope you've all done the test yourself. A bit like where I started from. People were saying to Jacob and I, okay, so you're living it. You're living up to what it is you say. Do the test yourself. Go through this information, go through this data, see how it relates to you so you understand it, so you can explain it and make it workable for other people. There's a lifestyle guide. There is so much to this, and it is so individualized. Please, please, please take a close look, do the test, convey the test, and win people over. So the key message is find out your health score and learn what you can do to have a better tomorrow. The test tells you how it is. The questionnaire shows you how it will be. So I'm going to stop share. I've covered a ton of information there. I don't want to occupy the whole session because I'm well mindful of the fact that other people need to talk, but I am passionate about this. And I'm going to conclude just with a couple of lines. First of all, this is a very real issue, but most importantly, it's a real issue that we can prevent measurably. If you're okay now, let's keep it that way with some good understanding and good advice. If you're pre-diabetic, let's hit the brakes. Let's reverse it and go the other way so we never have to be diabetic. And if you're type 2 diabetic, and I stand by this, and you can quote me to any medical expert you meet, if you manage your condition well through your diet, proactive physical activity and exercise, you will be highly unlikely to need medication. Who would want to live a life of medication when you can just live a life of good health? You can manage your symptoms down. So this test is so powerful across the board, because rather than preach reliance, it preaches health independence. So spread the word, good people. Take the test, share the test, and help people to do better. Thank you very much. Back to you, I believe, Hilda.
Thank you so much, Colin. A brilliant presentation, and it's such an important focus. I wrote down, you are the impact of what you do most often. You know, I truly do believe that, what you said there, Colin. And obviously that relates to our health as well as also our business.